so finally, my senior year, I asked Shirley if she'd like to go out. I think somebody told me that if I asked her, she would, and I wouldn't be turned down. I think that was the reason I did. So that was the middle of my senior year. That was in Christmas of my senior year, which is about the only time I'd been on a date or two. You know, my good friend Jim Gilhouse, he had a car, bless his heart, and we'd double date occasionally. You know. But if it hadn't been for him, I'd have probably never, ever had a date, you know, because didn't have an automobile, you know. Yeah. My dad drove a 41 or 42 Chevrolet. No, I don't want to get into that.
That was in the 50s. So it was that old.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get
So
anyway, you got the nerve up, and asked her out. How'd that all go?
Yeah, and so we I guess went on to the show or something, and it turned out very well. So we stayed together all, you know, in the next couple of years, and then we got married in '56 after I graduated.
But you played ball.
Yes, the Cardinals.
How did that come up?
Well,
I mean, did somebody mention them to you, or
yes, the
you
Cardinals,
to them, or what?
They had scouts.
What they did, they had kind of stringers that said, hey, you know, this guy's kind of not too bad, you know, you want to look at him. So then the Cardinals send you a letter and say, we'd like you to come over to Farmington, I think it was, and you know, kind of do a little tryout, you know. So Dad took me over there, and we'd done pretty good. You know, it turned out really very well, and the Cardinals said, well, we'll keep an eye on you, you know, and that kind of stuff.
How old were you?
How old were you when
about
this?
16.
Okay.
Oh, you were 16
or 17.
Really?
Okay, so you were probably what in summer between sophomore junior?
Well, yeah, the first time, and then we was fortunate enough to play in the state tournament the next year when I was a junior. And we got all the way down to St. Louis. We played so many games, and St. Louis U beat us, which we played them with about the last 8 teams in the thing. And they beat us about 3-1 or something, you know. So naturally you get a little bit more recognition, you know. And then the Browns called me up and wanted me to come down to Sportsman's Park to try out, you know, for another tryout thing, you know. And Fred Bensbacher went with me. We both got a little call, and we went down there and got to pitch on that mound. That was really cool.
No kidding.
Yeah, it really was, and it was quite impressive.
Now, how many guys were down there when you were there?
Oh, probably 50,
really?
60.
Wow.
Yeah. They got them from everywhere.
Yeah. Did you know any of them that you'd played against or anything?
Never seen them before in my life. Yeah. And then after I graduated, then they sent a guy out. I knew they was coming. They sent out, and his name was Gus Mancuso. He used to play for the Cardinals. Used to catch, and he signed me up. He gave me $350 to do that.
Wow.
Which seemed like a really big amount.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he signed me to a contract for $175 a month to go to Albany, Georgia, Class D. This is about as low as you can get, you know. So I did that summer, you know, and
now how long was the contract for? For
just
how many
for
months?
A year.
Yeah, for a year. Okay.
Yeah, and so we went down. I went down there, and I didn't get in enough games. When I was in, I was wild because I wasn't pitching enough, you know, and but that's just the way it goes. There's fighting for a pennant too, you know. They want to win too, you know, and they done very well, you know. And we had a really good team. But I tell you what, the facilities down there was just absolutely fantastic, just like Major League.
Really?
They had great showers and people that take care of your spikes and all that crap. You know?
How cool.
Yeah. And you'd go in and you'd change after you worked out and get in a different sweatshirt. They took care of all the washing and everything, you know. It was so cool. Yeah. They had a guy that rub you, you know.
Really?
Yeah. You know, one of those workout guys, you know, and everything. And had great batting cages. Had people worked on the mounds and, the crew, the
Right.
grounds crew and everything. Boy, it was a nice field. It
That was in
really
Albany, Georgia.
Sure was. It had about 50,000 people then. So
Really?
it was a pretty
Wow.
big town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't no pedunk place. It was,
How many people show up to a game?
Oh, I would guess probably 1,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And hell, they'd sell beer, and everything,
Yeah.
Just
Just
right
like
out of the
pros.
can. They'd take the lid off. That's what they done. They sold it right out of the can.
Wow.
I remember them Budweiser, the big half Budweiser. They'd take the lid off, and just,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But they had segregation. All the black people stayed on the left-hand side. You drank out of your own
Water fountain.
water fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like
was-
Georgia.
And I feel really bad about that because I didn't think much about it then.
Mm-hmm.
I
that was just normal.
I was overwhelmed with where I was at. I didn't even know how to dial a phone.
Mm-hmm.
I got down there, I had somebody dial me. I didn't know anything about dialing a phone, to tell them I was here and how I get to there,
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite an experience for me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Going all the way down there, and I didn't know what in the hell I was doing.
Tell them what you did during the day when you weren't playing ball. You used to walk the streets and
Oh yeah, well the deal is, you played every night.
Right.
So what you do, you play at night, and then they had a Stem's restaurant, they used to call it. It was really a nice restaurant where it was kind of our hangout. So we would go in there after the ball game. You would get done about 11 o'clock. Hell, you sit there, shoot the crap for 2 hours. You go to bed at 1:30, or you'd walk around at night with, we would use milk. We'd buy milk and drink around the bull crap.
Really?
4 or 5 guys, And then we'd go, hell, you go to bed at 2 o'clock. Wouldn't get up till 10:30 in the morning, That's just kind of the way it was, And it'd be about time to go to the ballpark again, And then you go on the road. They'd give you, I always kind of liked that because they'd give you, it sounds funny now, but you give you $5 for a 2-day trip, so it'd be 2.5 a day, to eat on. If you was gone 4 days, they'd give you $10, That was really a big deal, because you could eat, believe it or
Pretty
not,
cheap.
you could eat cheaper than that,
Mm-hmm. For 4 days.
Yeah, and there was no McDonald's, there was no nothing. You had to find a restaurant in the town.
Mm-hmm.
It was Waycross and Valdosta and Brunswick, Georgia, all those, some of them are pretty fair, good towns, some of them pretty small, So, but that was and your bus would just be just like you see on television, them old buses, and you'd go to these hotels, you'd go to motels, depending on which town you was in, and hell, everything you paid for it, it's really pretty cool.
tell them how you got down to Georgia. You got on a train here in Sullivan.
Oh yeah, I got on a train up here in Sullivan. You believe that?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
got on a train, went down to St. Louis, and Shirley might be down there
Military
because we
cabin.
knew that she was going to be gone for a while. And then I had to get on another train down there and head down to Georgia. Yeah,
My God.
yeah, I don't know where the
All
hell
by
I was
himself.
I bet not.
All I knew is you could throw a left-handed curve.
But then after the season was over, well, then But I want to tell you about the checks that they give you. I had the little cardinal thing on, it was so, I wish I could have saved one,
Yeah.
It was so cool. I had the little cardinal emblem on it and everything, and it was made out to me, I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mhm.
That is.
Yeah, and then I got back home after. I can't even remember how the hell I got back home. I guess on a train.
train, probably,
Yeah.
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 But then I think they paid my way back too. So I didn't have to go do any of that stuff. But then I got a job at Midwest Footwear, and thinking that I would probably go ahead and play ball for a long time. Being naive.
Right.
And I worked there, and then Shirley and I was still dating then, and then I went back down at the next March, the same way on the train and everything, and I went through spring training down there, and the day before the season was open, they released me. And I was absolutely devastated. I had, as stupid me, I didn't even think that I would get released. It never even entered my mind.
Really?
Because I thought, not too bad, pretty good. I went in there that day and they take the uniform, that bought thousands of kids though, and they take the uniform if you was released. I went in there, I tell you, I was so shocked, I could not believe. And my feathers absolutely drooped.
Well, sure.
Yeah. And so that was kind of really a letdown. But then they sent me back home. They gave me the way to get back home, and then I came back and went